Hey comic fans, and welcome back. We're continuing our journey through Marvel history, summarizing another batch of fascinating issues featuring mutants, gods, Spider-Man, and even giant monsters. We've got classic X-Men tales, origin stories revisited, untold team-ups, and modern mutant adventures. Grab your long boxes, and let's dive in. Picking up with Uncanny X-Men number 6, the team finds themselves facing royalty, Namor, the Sub-Mariner. Professor X detects Namor as a powerful mutant presence and sends the X-Men to investigate, hoping to potentially recruit the volatile Prince of Atlantis. The team tracks him down, but Namor, ever distrustful of surface dwellers and fiercely independent, immediately sees them as a threat. A battle erupts between the young mutants and the seasoned Atlantean prince. Namor's immense strength, ability to command sea life, and flight capabilities, thanks to his ankle wings, prove more than a match for the inexperienced X-Men. He easily shrugs off their attacks and mocks their attempts to subdue him. Just as things look dire, Magneto arrives on the scene. Magneto, also sensing Namor's power, sees him not as an X-Men recruit, but as a potential powerhouse for his brotherhood of evil mutants. He proposes an alliance with Namor, appealing to their shared status as powerful beings set apart from humanity. However, the Brotherhood, minus Magneto, attacks Namor, mistaking him for an enemy on Magneto's orders. This betrayal enrages Namor, who turns his fury on the Brotherhood. Seeing the chaos, Magneto tries to salvage the situation, but Namor wants nothing to do with either team. He views both Magneto's desire for conquest and Xavier's attempts at integration with contempt. Ultimately, Namor rejects both Magneto's offer and the X-Men's interference, declaring his independence and returning to the sea, leaving both mutant factions frustrated. This issue highlights to Atlantis and his own code, unwilling to be drawn into the surface world's conflicts. Namor Mackenzie, the Sub-Mariner, is one of Marvel's oldest characters, predating even Captain America. He is the half-human, half-Atlantean hybrid son of a human sea captain and an Atlantean princess. As the prince, and later king, of Atlantis, he possesses immense superhuman strength, rivaling the Hulk and Thor, incredible durability, amphibious physiology allowing him to breathe underwater and on land, and the ability to fly via small wings on his ankles. He also possesses hydrokinesis and can telepathically communicate with and command sea life. Namor is fiercely protective of his undersea kingdom and often views the surface world with disdain due to humanity's pollution and aggression towards the oceans. He's characterized by his regal arrogance, short temper, and complex morality, often acting as an anti-hero or even a villain from the surface world's perspective, but always driven by his duty to Atlantis. In Uncanny X-Men number 7, the team enjoys a brief respite after their encounter with Namor, but peace never lasts long. Professor X decides the team needs a vacation, but their relaxation is cut short by the return of the Blob. Having somehow regained his memories of the X-Men, often attributed to Magneto's intervention later, Fred Dukes is back and looking for trouble, rejoining the carnival circuit. The X-Men confront him, but the Blob proves just as immovable and resistant as before. During the struggle, Magneto and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants arrive. Magneto attempts to recruit the Blob, seeing his power as useful, but the Blob arrogantly refuses him just as he refused the X-Men. This leads to a brief, chaotic three-way skirmish between the X-Men, the Brotherhood, and the Blob. Amidst the chaos, Magneto decides to cut his losses and focus on weakening the X-Men directly. Using his magnetic powers, he manages to capture Angel, ensnaring him with metallic bonds and flying off with him before the X-Men can react effectively. The Blob, meanwhile, simply wanders off, uninterested in the mutant conflict. The X-Men are left reeling from Angel's capture. Professor X tracks Magneto's energy signature to Asteroid M, his orbital base of operations. The team prepares for a dangerous rescue mission, knowing they must venture into space to confront Magneto on his home turf and save their teammate. This issue escalates the conflict, taking it beyond Earth for the first time. Angel's capture raises the personal stakes for the team, forcing them to undertake their most perilous mission yet against their arch-nemesis, setting the stage for a direct assault on Magneto's stronghold. Now let's delve into the backstory of the X-Men's field leader with X-Men Origins, Cyclops. This story retells the tragic events that shaped Scott Summers. As a young boy, Scott, his younger brother Alex, and their parents Catherine and Christopher Summers are flying in their private plane when it's attacked by an alien Shi'ar spacecraft. To save her sons, Catherine pushes Scott and Alex out of the burning plane with the only available parachute. During the fall, Scott suffers a head injury which damages the part of his brain responsible for controlling his latent mutant power, the uncontrollable optic blasts. The brothers survive the fall but are separated and traumatized. Scott awakens in an orphanage run by the sinister Mr. Milbury, an alias for the geneticist Mr. Sinister, though Scott doesn't know this. Scott suffers from amnesia regarding the crash and debilitating headaches caused by his burgeoning powers, which manifest as uncontrollable bursts of red energy from his eyes. He's isolated and bullied, unable to control the destructive force within him. Eventually, Scott runs away from the orphanage and falls under the sway of Jack Winters, also known as the criminal Jack Odiamons. Winters recognizes Scott's power and forces him to use his optic blasts for crime. This attracts the attention of Professor Charles Xavier, who intervenes. Xavier helps Scott subdue Winters and offers him refuge at his school for gifted youngsters. He provides Scott with ruby quartz lenses, the first step in controlling his optic blasts, and begins training him, giving him the code name Cyclops. This origin establishes Scott's deep-seated trauma, his struggle for control, and his profound debt to Professor X, forming the bedrock of his serious, duty-bound personality. Jack Winters is a mutant criminal who plays a significant role in Cyclops' early life after he runs away from the orphanage. Winters possesses the ability to transform his body into a super-dense, diamond-hard form, granting him superhuman strength and durability, similar to Marvel's later character, Diamond Head. He often goes by the alias, Jack Odiamons. Winters is opportunistic and cruel. Upon finding the young, vulnerable Scott Summers, he doesn't offer help but instead recognizes the potential of Scott's destructive optic blasts. He bullies and manipulates Scott, forcing the boy to use his powers to aid in his robberies and criminal schemes. Jack Winters represents the predatory path Scott could have fallen into without intervention, highlighting the importance of Professor Xavier's guidance in steering Scott towards heroism rather than villainy. He serves as an early antagonist showcasing the dangers mutants face from exploitation. In Journey into Mystery number 109, the mighty Thor has a rather unexpected encounter with the Master of Magnetism, Magneto. The story begins with Thor, in his civilian guise as Dr. Donald Blake, tending to patients. Elsewhere, Magneto is searching for powerful allies or weapons to aid his mutant cause. Magneto somehow becomes aware of the immense power contained within Thor's enchanted hammer, Mjolnir. Believing he can harness this power for his own ends, Magneto decides to steal it. He tracks Thor down, waiting for an opportunity to separate the Thunder God from his hammer. Magneto confronts Thor, boasting of his magnetic powers. Thor, initially dismissive of this mortal challenger, is surprised by the effectiveness of Magneto's abilities. Magneto uses his powers to manipulate metal objects in the environment, creating obstacles and projectiles to bombard Thor. He focuses his efforts on disarming the Thunder God. The core conflict revolves around Mjolnir's enchantment. Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. Magneto uses his magnetic force to try and wrest the hammer from Thor's grasp or lift it himself. However, despite his immense power over magnetism, he finds he cannot lift Mjolnir due to the worthiness enchantment. Frustrated by his inability to lift the hammer, Magneto resorts to other tactics, trapping Thor magnetically. Thor, however, proves too powerful, breaking free and ultimately overpowering Magneto. Realizing he cannot defeat the God of Thunder nor steal his hammer, Magneto makes a tactical retreat. This issue serves as an interesting clash of power types, raw physical and magical might versus fundamental forces, and reinforces the unique nature of Mjolnir's enchantment. Jumping forward in publication but backward in continuity, Untold Tales of Spider-Man number 21 gives us an early, previously unseen encounter between Spider-Man and a founding X-Man, Cyclops. Set during the early days of both heroes' careers, Peter Parker is on a field trip to a museum when disaster strikes. The museum is attacked by none other than Jack Odiamons. Still active as a criminal after his initial encounter with young Scott Summers, Winters is attempting to steal precious gems. Peter quickly changes into Spider-Man to confront the diamond-hard villain. Coincidentally, Scott Summers is also nearby, perhaps visiting the city or on a solo mission sanctioned by Professor X. Recognizing Jack Winters, the men who exploited him, Cyclops immediately jumps into action, determined to stop his former tormentor. This leads to an impromptu and somewhat awkward team-up between the wisecracking Spider-Man and the stoic Cyclops. The two young heroes struggle against Jack Odiamon's strength and durability. Their differing personalities and fighting styles clash initially. Spider-Man's improvisational acrobatics and webbing contrast with Cyclops' disciplined optic blasts and tactical approach. They have to learn quickly to coordinate their efforts. Eventually, by combining Spider-Man's webbing to immobilize Winter's and Cyclops' focused optic blasts, they manage to subdue Jack O'Diamond's. The encounter provides a glimpse into the early development of both characters, showcasing their core traits and giving Cyclops a measure of personal closure by defeating the men who abused his powers. It's a fun, lost story highlighting the burgeoning Marvel Universe. Back to the original run with Uncanny X-Men number 8, where the team encounters another powerful but unwilling mutant, Unus the Untouchable. Professor X detects Unus's mutant signature and, as usual, sends the X-Men to investigate and potentially recruit him. They find Unus working as a popular wrestler and stage performer, amazing audiences with his ability to project a force field that makes him completely untouchable. The X-Men approach Unus after a show, explaining who they are and inviting him to join the school. However, like the Blob before him, Unus is arrogant and perfectly happy with his celebrity status. He sees no need to join the X-Men or hide his powers, enjoying the fame and fortune they bring him. He dismisses the X-Men contemptuously. Unus decides to embark on a crime spree, believing his untouchable force field makes him invincible. He robs banks and easily repels police efforts. The X-Men are forced to intervene, leading to a frustrating battle where none of their powers can penetrate Unus's invisible shield, Cyclops' blasts, Iceman's ice, Angel's attacks, and Marvel Girl's telekinesis are all useless. During the conflict, Beast, frustrated with his appearance in the public sphere, decides to quit the X-Men to pursue his own wrestling career, hoping for acceptance like Unus initially had. This leaves the team down a member. Professor X realizes Unus's power might have a weakness. He instructs the remaining X-Men to push Unus's powers to their limit. Working with Beast, who temporarily returns to help, they amplify Unus's own power using a device created by Beast, overloading his ability to the point where he can't even feed himself because his force field repels everything. Defeated and desperate, Unus agrees to reform in exchange for the X-Men returning his powers to normal. Beast then departs again, leaving the team uncertain about his future. Angelo Unision, later known by his stage name Unus the Untouchable, is a mutant possessing the power to generate a psionic bioenergy field around his body. This invisible field is completely impenetrable, repelling virtually any object or force directed at him, making him untouchable. He initially uses this power for fame and fortune as a wrestler and performer. Unus is typically portrayed as extremely arrogant and egotistical, believing his power makes him superior to everyone else. He has little interest in the X-Men's ideals or Magneto's cause, primarily motivated by self-interest and glory. His force field, while powerful defensively, offers little offensive capability beyond basic hand-to-hand combat. A recurring challenge for opponents is finding ways to bypass or overload his protective shield, as direct assaults are futile. He often serves as a minor antagonist or joins larger villain groups like Factor 3 or the Brotherhood. Revisiting the Untold Tales era again, the Untold Tales of Spider-Man Annual 1997 presents a massive early team-up, Spider-Man and the original 5 X-Men versus the Sinister Six. Set shortly after the formation of both the X-Men and Spidey's infamous Rogues Gallery, the story kicks off with Dr. Octopus assembling his team of villains. Dr. Octopus gathers Electro, Kraven the Hunter, Mysterio, Sandman, and the Vulture, promising them revenge against their common enemy, Spider-Man. Their plan involves capturing someone close to Spider-Man to lure him into a trap. Meanwhile, the X-Men are in New York City, perhaps on a training exercise or tracking unrelated mutant activity. The Sinister Six scheme inadvertently targets the X-Men as well, or perhaps their paths cross during the villain's rampage. Spider-Man arrives on the scene to confront his assembled foes, only to find the X-Men already engaging them. This leads to a massive, chaotic battle across the city. We see various matchups, Spider-Man trying to outmaneuver the Vulture, Cyclops blasting at Electro, Beast grappling with Kraven, Iceman trying to contain Sandman, Angel dodging Mysterio's illusions, and Marvel Girl using her telekinesis against Dr. Octopus's arms. The sheer number of combatants makes it a frantic struggle. Despite being outnumbered and facing unfamiliar mutant powers, the Sinister Six experience and ruthlessness pose a significant challenge. Spider-Man and the X-Men must overcome initial unfamiliarity and learn to coordinate their unique abilities. Professor X likely provides telepathic guidance. Ultimately, the combined might and teamwork of the six young heroes managed to thwart the Sinister Six plan, forcing the villains to retreat. This Lost adventure showcases the shared universe's potential even in its earliest days. Spider-Man's most brilliant and persistent archenemies. A highly intelligent nuclear physicist and inventor, Octavius designed a set of powerful, telepathically controlled mechanical arms to handle hazardous materials. A laboratory accident fused the harness controlling these arms to his body and damaged his brain, transforming him into a megalomaniacal criminal. The four mentally controlled titanium steel tentacles grant him incredible strength, reach, and dexterity, allowing him to climb walls, fight multiple opponents, and manipulate objects with precision. Doc Ock is defined by his immense intellect, scientific genius, arrogance, and obsession with proving his superiority, particularly over Spider-Man. He is the founder and often the leader of the Sinister Six, using his strategic mind to coordinate their attacks. Adrian Toomes, the original Vulture, is another classic Spider-Man foe. An elderly but brilliant electronics engineer, Toomes invented an electromagnetic flight harness that grants him superhuman strength and, most importantly, the ability to fly silently via large, razor-sharp artificial wings. After being cheated out of his business by a corrupt partner, the bitter Toomes turned to crime, using his invention for theft and revenge. Despite his advanced age, the harness enhances his vitality and strength, making him a dangerous aerial combatant. He relies on his flight advantage, sharp wings for attack, and surprising viciousness. The Vulture is often motivated by greed and resentment towards the youth and success he feels he was denied. He is a founding member of the Sinister Six, providing aerial assault capabilities to the team. Sergei Kravenov, known as Kraven the Hunter, is a world-renowned big-game hunter obsessed with proving himself the greatest hunter alive by capturing the ultimate prey. Spider-Man, born into Russian aristocracy, Kraven uses mystical jungle potions that grant him enhanced strength, speed, agility, stamina, and senses, mimicking the abilities of jungle predators. He is a master tracker, strategist, and hand-to-hand combatant, preferring to hunt his quarry using his skills and traditional weapons rather than firearms. Kraven operates under a strict, albeit twisted, code of honor, viewing his hunt for Spider-Man as a noble challenge. His obsession often borders on madness. As a founding member of the Sinister Six, he brings expert tracking skills and formidable physical prowess to the group. Quentin Beck, or Mysterio, is a master of illusion, special effects, and deception. A former Hollywood stuntman and special effects wizard, Beck felt his talents were unrecognized and turned to crime, using his expertise to become a costume supervillain. He possesses no actual superpowers but is a genius inventor and chemist, utilizing advanced holographic projectors, hallucinogenic gases, robotics, and elaborate props to create convincing illusions and simulate various powers. His signature fishbowl-like helmet protects him from his own gases and contains holographic equipment. Mysterio aims to confuse, disorient, and psychologically torment his opponents, particularly Spider-Man. He thrives on theatrics and misdirection, making him a frustrating and unpredictable foe. He's a key member of the Sinister Six, specializing in sowing chaos and confusion. William Baker, also known as Flint Marko, is the Sandman. A common thug on the run from the law, Baker stumbled onto a nuclear test site where he was bombarded with radiation while in contact with sand. This freak accident transformed his body's molecular structure, giving him the ability to convert all or parts of his body into animated sand. He can alter his density from loose sand clouds to rock-hard constructs, shapeshift, often forming his hands into hammers or maces, create sandstorms, and absorb additional sand to increase his size and strength. Initially a simple criminal motivated by money, Sandman has occasionally shown capacity for reform, but often falls back into villainy. His unique physiology makes him highly resistant to physical harm and a challenging opponent requiring clever tactics to defeat. He's a founding member of the Sinister Six, providing brute force and unique defensive/offensive capabilities. In Uncanny X-Men number 9, the team faces a cosmic-level threat and we finally learn the tragic origin of Professor X's paralysis. The story begins with the X-Men detecting a powerful, malevolent alien presence heading towards Earth. Professor X identifies him as Lucifer, an advanced scout for an alien invasion by the Quists, also known as the Arcane. Xavier reveals his history with Lucifer. Years ago, while traveling in Tibet before forming the X-Men, Xavier encountered Lucifer attempting to set up equipment for his invasion. Xavier confronted the alien, and during their struggle, Lucifer dropped a massive stone block on Xavier's legs, crippling him. Xavier managed to stop Lucifer's initial plan then, but the alien escaped. Now, Lucifer has returned to activate his invasion device, hidden deep within the Earth. He possesses immense power and has placed a deadly bomb within his chest, linked to his heartbeat. If he is attacked or his heart stops, the bomb will detonate, destroying a large portion of the planet. This forces the X-Men into a difficult situation where they cannot directly attack their foe. Professor X coordinates a complex plan. He contacts the Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, Giant Man, Wasp, for assistance, asking them to handle Lucifer's external devices while the X-Men infiltrate Lucifer's underground base to disable the main invasion trigger without harming Lucifer himself. This marks the first interaction, albeit indirect, between the X-Men and the Avengers. The X-Men navigate Lucifer's death traps and manage to reach the device. Through clever teamwork and precise use of their powers, they disable the invasion mechanism just in time. Lucifer, his plan foiled again, is contacted by his superiors and seemingly teleported away, leaving the Earth safe for now. The issue reveals Xavier's personal sacrifice and expands the X-Men's scope to cosmic threats. Lucifer is an alien agent belonging to the Quist race, also known as the Arcane. He served as the advanced scout for a planned invasion of Earth by his species. Lucifer possesses several superhuman abilities granted by his alien physiology and technology, including superhuman strength, durability, energy projection, and teleportation. He is cold, calculating, and utterly ruthless in his mission, viewing humans as insignificant obstacles. His most defining encounter prior to this issue was his battle with a younger Charles Xavier in Tibet. In that confrontation, Lucifer was responsible for crushing Xavier's legs with a stone block, causing the paralysis that necessitates his wheelchair. Lucifer often employs complex devices and contingency plans, such as the bomb linked to his heartbeat, making him a dangerous opponent who requires strategic thinking rather than just brute force to defeat. He represents the cosmic threats that occasionally draw the X-Men beyond terrestrial conflicts. Jumping way ahead to the modern era, X-Men Gold #1 from 2017 relaunches the team with a classic feel but contemporary challenges. Following conflicts that fractured the mutant community, Kitty Pryde steps up to lead a new core X-Men team operating out of Central Park, aiming to re-establish the X-Men as proactive heroes protecting a world that still fears and hates them. Kitty's team consists of veteran X-Men: Storm, responsible for weather manipulation; Colossus, the organic steel powerhouse; Nightcrawler, the teleporting swashbuckler; Prestige, Rachel Gray/Summers, a powerful telepath/telekinetic from an alternate future; and Old Man Logan, an older, grizzled Wolverine from a dystopian timeline. Their first mission involves responding to an attack in the city. They discover the culprit is Terrax the Tamer, a former Herald of Galactus wielding the power cosmic and incredible control over Earth and rock. Terrax is rampaging, seeking a challenge worthy of his power. The X-Men engage Terrax in a massive battle. Kitty coordinates the team, utilizing their diverse powers. Storm controls the weather to buffet Terrax, Colossus engages him physically, Nightcrawler teleports for tactical advantage, Logan uses his claws, and Prestige assaults him telepathically. Kitty uses her phasing powers defensively and offensively. Despite Terrax's immense power, the X-Men's teamwork and experience allow them to eventually overwhelm and defeat him. However, the victory is short-lived. As the team regroups, they are confronted by a new brotherhood of evil mutants, seemingly led by a resurrected Avalanche, setting up future conflicts. This issue establishes the new team dynamic, Kitty's leadership, and their mission to be heroes in the heart of New York. Catherine Kitty Pryde, often using the codename Shadowcat, is a mutant with the ability to phase or become intangible, allowing her to pass through solid objects. She can extend this phasing to people and objects she is in contact with. When phasing through electronics, she disrupts their systems. Trained by Professor X and Wolverine, she joined the X-Men as a young teenager and grew into one of the team's most capable and experienced members. Kitty is highly intelligent, a skilled computer expert, trained in martial arts, and possesses a strong moral compass. She often serves as the heart and conscience of the team. Over the years, she has developed strong relationships with Colossus, Wolverine, and her pet dragon Lockheed. In X-Men Gold, she takes on the demanding role of field leader, stepping out of the shadows to guide the team and represent mutant kind. Rachel Gray, also known as Rachel Summers and currently using the codename Prestige, is the daughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey from the alternate Days of Future Past timeline, Earth 811. She inherited her mother's vast telepathic and telekinetic abilities, potentially at an Omega level. Rachel escaped her dystopian future, where she was forced to be a mutant hunting hound, and traveled to the main Marvel Universe, Earth 616. For a time, she was the host of the Phoenix Force. Rachel is a powerful and experienced X-Man, though often haunted by the trauma of her past. She possesses immense psychic power, capable of reading minds, projecting thoughts, creating psionic shields, moving objects with her mind, and firing telekinetic blasts. As Prestige, she strives to forge her own identity while honoring her parents' legacy. Old Man Logan is a version of Wolverine hailing from a dystopian alternate future, Earth 807129, famously depicted in the Old Man Logan storyline. In his timeline, the villains united and conquered the world, killing most superheroes. Traumatized by an event where Mysterio tricked him into killing the X-Men, Logan vowed never to pop his claws again. After decades living as a pacifist farmer, circumstances forced him back into action. Following the events of Marvel's 2015 Secret Wars, this older, grizzled Logan found himself stranded in the main Marvel Universe, Earth 616. While possessing Wolverine's standard powers, healing factor, adamantium skeleton, heightened senses, and retractable claws, which he is now willing to use again, he is older, wearier, and carries the immense burden of his past failures and losses, offering a different, more world-weary perspective to the team. Tyros, known as Terrax the Tamer, was originally the ruler of the planet Burge. He was chosen by the world devourer Galactus to be his herald, replacing the Silver Surfer. Galactus imbued Tyros with the power cosmic, transforming him into Terrax. This grants him immense superhuman strength, durability, flight, energy manipulation, and, most notably, near-absolute geokinesis, the ability to control rock and earth on a planetary scale. He wields a cosmic axe which helps channel his powers. Terrax proved to be a cruel and rebellious herald, often prioritizing conquest and destruction over finding uninhabited worlds for Galactus. He was eventually stripped of the power cosmic but has regained it or similar powers on various occasions. He is incredibly powerful, arrogant, and ruthless, seeking combat and domination. Finally, let's take a detour into Marvel's pre-hero monster era with Marvel Monsters, Monsters on the Prowl #1. This issue reprints classic monster tales, and will focus on the story featuring Orrgo, originally from Strange Tales No. 90, 1961. The story, The Coming of Orrgo, begins with a down-on-his-luck circus owner lamenting his failing business. Suddenly, a massive, winged alien creature with immense mental powers descends from the sky. This is Orrgo. Hailing from a race of incredibly powerful space gods, Orrgo declares his intention to conquer Earth. Humanity's military forces mobilize immediately, launching everything they have at the alien invader: tanks, jets, missiles. However, Orrgo effortlessly demonstrates his superiority. Using his vast mental abilities, he melts tanks, turns missiles into harmless birds, animates inanimate objects like statues and buildings to fight for him, and easily hypnotizes entire armies into submission. Within hours, Orrgo has completely subjugated the entire planet without breaking a sweat. He mentally commands world leaders, dissolves weapons, and establishes himself as the undisputed ruler of Earth. Humanity is utterly helpless before his cosmic-level power. He revels in his easy conquest, showcasing his abilities by manipulating weather and reshaping landscapes. However, the circus owner, hiding nearby, observes Orrgo. He notices the alien seems almost bored. In a moment of desperation or perhaps accidental insight, the circus owner manages to sneak up and wake up a sleeping gorilla from his circus. The gorilla, startled and angry, simply attacks the nearest thing, Orrgo. Caught completely off guard by such a primitive, unexpected physical assault, the all-powerful Orrgo is knocked unconscious. His mental control over the planet vanishes instantly. His alien race, monitoring him, retrieves their defeated agent in embarrassment, leaving Earth free once more. A classic monster tale with a humorous, unexpected ending. Orrgo is an extraterrestrial belonging to a vastly powerful, unnamed alien race, sometimes referred to as Mentelronets or simply space gods. Orrgo himself possesses immense psionic abilities on a planetary scale. His powers include, but are likely not limited to, telepathy, telekinesis, capable of levitating entire cities or melting tanks, hypnosis and mass mind control, matter manipulation, transmuting elements, animating inanimate objects, weather control, flight, and energy projection. Physically imposing with large wings and a somewhat reptilian appearance, his true power lies in his mental capabilities. In his first appearance, he effortlessly conquered Earth in mere hours, demonstrating power far exceeding most conventional superheroes. However, Orrgo, like others of his race, can display arrogance and overconfidence due to their immense power, potentially leaving them vulnerable to unexpected or unconventional attacks, as seen in his defeat by a simple circus gorilla. He represents the cosmic scale threats present in the Marvel Universe even before the Age of Heroes. And that's another set of classic and modern Marvel tales summarized. From mutant team-ups and origins to cosmic threats and monster mayhem, the Marvel Universe is always full of surprises. Which issue was your favorite from this batch? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more comic book history. Thanks for watching, and keep reading.